in January, we have to be able to then identify our smaller targets of let's try that guy. And more or less, like, we came to the last day of the window, and man was saying just bring in bodies. We're not even talking about quality anymore. Bring in bodies.
What's going on, people? It's Paul.
And it's your boy Mekz.
And we are the Cannon Club. Today, we are talking, better yet, reviewing the transfer window that has just passed, which closed yesterday, Monday, 3rd of February. What I'm going to do, Mekz, is I'm going to read out Arsenal's major ins and outs from the transfer window. Marquinhos, loan out to Cruzeiro, and Aiden Heaven, transfer out to Man United. I repeat, Arsenal's major ins and outs. Bro, I just want to know your 30,000-foot view. How do you feel about Arsenal's transfer window?
Extremely poor. Extremely poor due to the fact that we knew we were in trouble before January. Word. We knew we had injuries. We knew we wanted to bolster the squad. We knew we hadn't necessarily started off the league the best, and we were chasing going into January. So this is your opportunity. We knew we had a poor summer transfer window. This is your opportunity to tidy up all of those things, all of those mistakes. Yes, the January window is harder to acquire players and stuff, but now you need to fix the issue that you created in the summer by not doing good business. And we let it go by. And they told us they had money, and then they didn't spend it. And then Arteta told us he didn't need anyone. There was going to be internal solutions. And then internal solutions got injured. And then he said he's going to go and buy somebody. And then he didn't buy the person. We didn't buy anybody. And we saw our rivals strengthen. We saw one of our rivals spend over 100 million, as if this isn't even January. And yeah, we're left with nothing and having to now fight the rest of the season, a big fight we've got ahead with what we have. And this isn't just, a game. It's not Football Manager, just sign players. Like, those boys need help. I'm sure those players are calling for signings to help them. But if it's completely poor. Like, it's such a shame, like, that we just didn't feel like we could bring someone in to help the mission that we're on.
I mean, I echo everything you're saying. I'm just so disappointed because it just makes me think, if you won't sign players in this position, we've needed players in the past. You think of the Wenger days when, we felt like we needed reinforcements, or someone will push us over the line, or, maybe there's one or two injuries. This season, our squad, we went in light. We went in 22 out of 25 players. We've had terrible injuries, some long-term in Odegaard and Saka, and then obviously Jesus recently. And we've had all these bitty injuries, Timber, Calafiori, even Waneri, Miles Lewis-Skelly. Everyone's just like, little bit injury here, there. The squad is light, super light. And to go in and not to support these boys, I'm sure their bodies must feel like they're approaching April. And we're only, just getting into Feb. And the hardest games are still yet to come in terms of importance and the running. And to not support them, I've heard about and I try to stay off Twitter because too many people just begging that they know what's going on in the club. But I've tried to understand that you want to get the right players, but this is not even a right player situation. This is, we need help. We don't have the internal solutions anymore because, like you said, the internal solutions got injured, or I just couldn't see a way in which we were going to change it up, change the way we're playing without bringing in somebody with a different profile, new energy, different way of playing. And we haven't done that. And I just think it's a massive missed opportunity. And like you said, I think it's just terrible for the players, because if it was me, I'd be thinking, look at the effort we're putting in. Look how much we want to do this. Give us some support. Bring in someone who's going to be able to help us, show us that, almost like you're rewarding our hard work, and they haven't got that. Maybe they're probably not thinking like that. Maybe not. But I know I would. I think I would feel like that. I would feel like, wow. Especially as today, Arteta came out, I think it was the pre-match conference before Newcastle, saying that he's disappointed the club didn't do transfers. So clearly there's been a breakdown, or at least a misunderstanding in the way, that the board and Arteta wanting to do things. But bro, what do you think the implications are for our season moving forward now? What can we achieve?
I think there is still a lot there to be achieved. We've spoken about the Carling Cup, and hopefully we can get something done there. But it's literally all on a thread now.
Yeah.
Like, you can go around and name anybody in that starting 11 who, even some of those people that we can name currently aren't really starting 11 people. If I pick even someone like Trossard, if Trossard gets injured, we're in trouble. Because then Martinelli just has to keep playing.
Yeah.
If Havertz gets injured, although, people have their opinions on Havertz, we ain't got no other recognized forward. If Declan Rice gets injured, we don't trust Marino as a fan base just yet. If Odegaard gets injured, although he's been hot and cold this season, we don't have another quote unquote 10.
Yeah.
If Partey gets injured, we're asking Jorginho to come in, and we've seen some of the great performances Partey has put on this season, staying fit, which is a miracle for him. So we can't afford that to get injured. We don't trust Kivior, so we don't need a Gabriel getting himself injured or Saliba. We're literally down to our bones.
Yeah.
We saw Nato's performance. Was it against Girona?
Yeah.
Neto was what? Raya has to stay alive, like,
bro.
So this is what I mean. We've just basically said, well, you man that are the 11, you are the 11 now to the end of the season, and it's a very harsh thing. You might want to rest people. The transfer implications is more so like we need to be at 60 minutes of every game 3-0, 4-0 up.
Yeah.
So we can start taking off 5 guys and rest them for the next game. Yeah. That is what the transfer implications have now said for our season going forward.
Yeah. And, I know January was very intense, and it feels like we should have had someone ready to go 1st, 2nd of Jan, whenever the window opened, because, yes, the intensity does come down a little bit. But like you said, all it takes is 1 or 2 more injuries. It doesn't even need to be ACL or like 8-9 months out, just a little 4 to 6 weeks during this period when we've got Champions League, to Martinelli, to Havertz, who have been running to the ground, those sort of stress injuries where it's because you've been overworked and overplaying. Partey, who, like you said, has been fit as a fiddle this season, he might revert to type and then be out for 2 to 3 months. And then all of a sudden we've lost our centre back and right back cover. And when I think about it, again, in the pre-match conference today, he was asked about Ben White and Saka. Saka, he said he doesn't know. And Ben White, he said maybe after the break, he could be back. And even then, you're going to have to be giving Ben White some little, 10, 20 minutes here to kind of warm up before throwing him back in. But will he have the opportunity? I just think, I'm sure Arteta's probably stated his case, and he has to bear some responsibility for the poor summer transfer window, 100%. But I look back at the season, and when Odegaard came back in, and first game he's playing like 96 minutes at Chelsea. Like, these players are not going to be able to just either, even if they don't get injured, they're not going to be able to have the energy come the important part of the season. And we're already chasing. We're chasing in the league. The Champions League's a bit up in the air, but yeah, I don't know. I can't see this squad winning anything in a sense, but there's maybe bar the Carabao Cup, because maybe if we can keep this little conglomerate together, maybe we can just get over the line, because that wraps up in February. But past that, I don't know. It's very disappointing.
Yeah.
Do you have any sort of respect, though, for the club stance in saying we want who we want and that's it? Is there any sort of respect in terms of, because at the end of the day, to them, even though we are fans, we can appreciate maybe even appreciate's a bit strong. We can see where they're coming from. But obviously, as a fan, you want to see players, you want to see the players supported, the team doing well. But they seem to have a very rigid idea. We want who we want, and we're not willing to break that. And even the players that are maybe plan Bs, again, we don't want to, ruin our plans for the summer. What's your thoughts on that?
I get it to an extent, right? And we have been very strict, but at the same time, the market dictates that you have to have plan B, and you have to be able to move with whatever's happening, sort of thing. You know, we're not an whatever Saudi Arabian team that has 70 million to just squander on players. Even Man City, like the way they just moving and going and just putting money down and taking people. We don't do that. Like if you've noticed, all of our transfers, a Calafiori, a Marino, it's like you hear in 1 month that this guy is a target for Arsenal, and then it takes a whole 60 to 90 days before the person actually arrives at Arsenal. So I don't know what it is in terms of how we're doing our transfers differently from other clubs, but like I just feel like we have to be adaptable, and we have to go and be able to identify a Trossard. Like we got a Trossard for 20 mil. He's come in. He's gonna want it. It's a big move for him, sort of thing. But let the guy know at the same time, you're a squad player, and we will be looking to, you know, still, you know, bring in our major signing in the summer, whoever that's gonna be, whatever that's gonna look like. But like, you know, there's a Semenyo doing well at Bournemouth or whatever. There's the guys in Brentford, Mbuemo or someone like that. These are little tidy guys that can tie us over. Like, I'm not saying they're the answer. Yes, some of them will still cost at least 50 mil or whatever the case may be. But we have to, like, what are our scouts doing? I heard, that Aston Villa signed, what's this guy, Duran, from some American club,
Chicago Fire
or something, for 7 or 10 million, and they've just sold him for 70 after like what, 2 years or so?
2 years, maybe 2 years at best.
Maybe 18 months or something. Like, so we done that previously with Martinelli, brought him from obscurity more or less into the first team, and he's flourished in past years, and you know, needs to get better again. But like, these, if we're not going to spend big in these in January, we have to be able to then identify our smaller targets of, let's try that guy. And more or less, like, we came to the last day of the window and man was saying, just bring in bodies. We're not even talking about quality anymore. Bring in bodies.
But then people were saying that, Arteta, well, this is why I'm just kind of staying off Twitter when it comes to it, because people will come and say, well, these ITKs that, Arteta didn't want another body, that's why he let Tell go to Spurs. But then Eddie bring in Sterling and then says in the interview after, this is not what we planned. So he was a body, and Arteta has been treating him like a body. Yet now in a position where we need the players, and we do need a body, but then at the same time, I'm hearing that we were looking at Morata. And I would have flipped this laptop, bro, if I saw that.
Where did Morata go? Morata transferred to somewhere.
He went. He did leave Milan. I can't remember where he went.
I don't remember where he went, but
but that guy with his money laundering, I don't know what's going on there, but
bro, man are saying bring in bodies. Like, it reminds me of, like, remember back in the day, you go to a house party and man were like, oh, cool girls. cool girls to come. Like, you go to your phone book, you look for any girls that you could find.
There's drink.
Like, like, man were like, wanted Rashford last minute, and obviously we know his wages are crazy. Like, we shouldn't be in that position. Why are we panic buying? Do the business the right time in the summer when you've got more time and there's more availability to move. And this should just be for a cleanup, you know. Serious injury happens and you can just sign a quick backup. Like, even in January, you shouldn't really be trying to sign someone that should make your first 11. Like, but
I mean, it's disappointing because it just feels like we wait and we're very strict, and then we get to the end and it's just, I don't know if even in the summer Arsenal thought, these guys are pretty robust, we'll be fine. Odegaard gets injured on international duty. Saka, who, not that I wanted it, but he was due an injury. He was due because of the amount of football he's playing for Arsenal and England. And to just think we could get rid of Nelson, Smith Rowe, Nketiah, Fabio Vieira, and bring in a left back, a centre mid, and Sterling, and think we're going to be able to get through. You know, it's just, it's ridiculous. Even to the point now where Arteta's having to use Sterling properly now because he's got absolutely no choice. Otherwise, we're going to start seeing them double barrel Mandem from the academy come through and start playing.
There's a lot of double barrel Mandem.
A lot of double barrel Mandem, bro. So, I don't know where we go from here, to be honest. I mean, what's your thoughts now for the rest of the season? I guess that's it. You know, this is it. This is the squad. I think we're still waiting for Tomiyasu, Ben White, Saka. Who else is injured? I don't even think that's
Gabriel Jesus.
Yeah, and Jesus, obviously, which that was a big injury. In the hindsight now, but yeah, in terms of Saka, again, we don't know. Could be March, could be April. Are we going to rush him back? Same with Ben White. Tomiyasu's in the wilderness. He's like I don't even know. He's like a rare Pokemon card, bro. I don't even know who that guy is anymore. But what's your thoughts for the rest of the season? This is the squad.
Like I say, we got to be winning matches 3-4-0 by 60 minutes and be taking off 5 guys. Like it's simple as, like, we have to protect what we have to get to the end of the season. Because if a couple more injuries and the situation looks dire, we start slipping down the table. A race for a championship in a Premier League win will become, all right, you're just going to finish second and that's it. Will become a top 4 race, will become a top 6 race. Like, we just have to maintain the fitness of these guys. And I want Arsenal to start their transfer business early. You guys have mentioned Zubimendi, and we've beaten everyone to Zubimendi. Like, make sure it happens, please. I don't want to hear, like, whenever the transfer window opens, is it July 1st or something? Let Zubimendi be wearing an Arsenal shirt that day, like
ready.
Yeah, and anyone else. So if Isaac is your big signing, or a Gyökeres or whomsoever, like, you can start talking to them.
Yeah,
you can start, speaking to the agent. What is it going to take to get you out of the club, and putting your bids together and asking Barclays to loan you money, whatever it is going to be. Like, organize yourself from now, because this slot beating us to the championship, I'm telling you now, this isn't going to go down well come the summer. By May, it's not going to go down well. So Arsenal are going to have to bring out the extendo clip and do something mad in the summer, because
big swammy.
Honestly, it's not going to go down well.
Yeah, no, and you know how it goes. We'll start seeing articles saying war chest and all these buzzwords to try and guess us. Yeah, now that the window's closed, we can start. Why don't we wrap up Zubimendi April? I was like saying, yeah, it's already done. Yeah, he knows he's leaving. If we're going for Isaac, Holler Newcastle, or if we need to wait to see if they're going to get Champions League, Holler, Gyökeres, Holler, Sesko, like, let's get it all done, so we don't need to do this waiting game, and then you can just plan for the opportunities that may present themselves in the market. But yeah, I mean, even the whole play well, play hard for 60 minutes, is that even sustainable to go again 60 minutes? What if you're only 1-0 up? Now you can't take off Ødegaard, you can't take off Havertz, can't take off Martinelli, and then they get run into the ground. Then you got a tricky away game somewhere, and I think the only thing that's going in our favor in terms of the league is that we have got a relatively easier back end of the season. I think the only team we have to play in the top 10 is Liverpool and Forest. So and that's home and away. So it looks like we've got good fixtures coming up. Champions League, we've done well defensively. I think we've only conceded 1 open goal. But, when it comes to knockouts, our history there. We just need to see what happens, and then Carabao Cup tomorrow. Yeah, it's just disappointing. It's a big fat 0, bro. What can we do? But support the team. But yeah, any last words, bro?
Last words quickly. Heaven obviously leaving, and then obviously I think earlier in the season we lost Chidiyobi to Man U as well.
Yeah,
they need to look at this. We can't be losing some of our promising youngsters to Man U. I know, obviously, because of how the scholarship contract works, they can just walk out effectively. Yeah. But I don't know if Arsenal's not prepared to put down the big money that Man U is giving some of these guys. That needs to stop as well. It's a small problem right now in the scape of things, and where Arsenal are trying to just secure their first title in 21 years. But that is an issue that needs to be plugged 100%. Immediately.
100%. And I think we definitely, because it's clear that we're maybe potentially having a bit of an academy, factory in terms of players that we can send out on loan, give a couple minutes, and then shot them somewhere for 15, 20 million. We can really get that going, because not everyone's going to make it, but let's make some profit out of them. Let's keep them close, and then, at least give them a career elsewhere. Seeing man go United as well is just infuriating, but if they're young boys, I'm not angry at them. They're going for the money. So we move. But that is it for the Cannon Club today. Make sure you like, subscribe, check us out. There will be more content coming. Yeah, Arsenal transfer window, big fat zero. But what can we do?